Aces High up against NumberOne Esports.
Well, that is not the graphic that we currently are supposed to have up. When that does get changed, it will look much better, guys. Don't worry about that. I was going to see some Herso on the side. But, of course, we will have Ace over on the side of the blue team, and NR1 will be calling over on the purple side here. And we'll have a LeBlanc band coming in first, a Rayleigh band as well. But on the other side, they're responding with Lysandra and Nar.
And the Nar band doesn't surprise me, Jason. I've always felt, ever since we've seen him, it's always felt like just a really scary top laner. I know it's been kind of highly contested. Lysandra as well, does that surprise you?
Not too much. Not too much.
It's so common nowadays.
Really, control-focused, oriented kind of champion. Thaldrin actually just play a lot of Nar in that top lane, so we actually see him band down against him, like we said before. We played in 2 games when they were playing different dimensions. In the third and second game they played, the ones they won. So definitely a champion they really want to focus around. There's also a lot of couple of picks in there that kind of blend as well with the Janna, which is actually being banned out. I was going to say, they played support Janna every single game.
Yeah, so maybe that's a targeted ban. They know that it's kind of all kind of focused around the Janna support in that bot lane. And of course, LeBlanc and Aurelia, obviously solo laners that they know they're strong, know that they're scared of, and just rightfully get them away. So Aces High know what they want to ban away, and looks like they know what they want to pick first. That Zed immediately hovered over, and I mean, a very strong solo laner at this stage. I assume that's going to be played in the mid lane.
Yeah, most likely, unless you have like RNA playing for some reason doing his Zed jungle.
Top, yeah.
I remember back in the day when Zed was released, he always talked about that's one champion he loved to play there, like Ezreal even. But let's actually see. Switches out for Zed, goes for Jarvan, goes for more of a control-oriented kind of jungler. I wouldn't be surprised to see now Rumble top lane. That Rumble-Jarvan combo of the ultimates is always ridiculously deadly. You get lots of the Cataclysm, you get lots of the Equilibrium
sounds lovely.
I was thinking of Aurelia, we talked about it earlier on.
That's true.
And you just take so much damage. But either way, Jarvan locked in. On the other side, though, they're hovering over a Wukong. We haven't seen that since the beginning of Season 3, I think it was. Actually, no, halfway through Season... sorry, beginning of Season 4. I was mistaken. I remember talking to St. Vicious back into Extreme Masters Brazil, saying Wukong and Pantheon were so fun to play in the jungle.
And I mean, I just remember there was a period like of 3 months, a span of 3 months, where all you saw was Wukong in the jungle. He was everywhere. And actually, as we get hyped up, the fish does replace the monkey. We're going to see Nami in that bot lane instead, and of course a Maokai in that top lane. So, I mean, Maokai's such a safe, strong pick.
I was going to say, you might see someone that you want. You keep talking about Kassadin top lane.
I love
every day in the office, you always talk about that. It's definitely a solid pick to put up against Maokai. It's definitely one of the good champions to go up against him. But curious to see what they're going to go with. They're hovering over a Jax. Almost going to be that late game hyper carry that can just decimate entire teams by himself, depending on the build. But they're still not sure just yet. And there's a lot on the line for these two teams. Whether or not it's just losing the first game. But internationally, you want to be able to get that exposure. Aces High, we saw them until Extreme Masters Cologne just at the end of last year in December, where they unfortunately didn't do too well. They did take a game off of Dignitas, though, but they had 3 subs then.
They had 3 subs. It wasn't their full lineup. It was obviously, it's always that LAN environment that can throw some teams off as well. So throw all that into the mixing pot. I just think that doesn't really count. The fact that they took a map off them shows there is some strength there.
And that's one thing I'm really curious about, because I was watching that VOD over, and Theophilus, he was the key man to do it. He played Pantheon in the jungle then. He went like 10-3, something ridiculous with the scoreline. So to me, that kind of worries me, is that if he doesn't play a jungler he's maybe comfortable on, maybe he can't be that backbone for the team that they need.
Yeah, and you need a strong backbone. And talking of this kind of real kind of core, we have a Kassadin picked in, and I don't know if I should get excited yet. It's obviously going to be a Kassadin in one of those solo lanes. I don't think we're going to be seeing it jungle. In the meantime, though, on the other side of things, looks like NumberOne Esports have got their eyes on... I mean, they're hovering over Kalista. I would love to see a Kalista game. I've seen some fantastic stuff in the in solo queue performed on that AD carry. There's definitely potential there, but I don't know if NumberOne Esports want to be those guys.
Well, I think we can talk about the Pantheon first, because we know that's probably going to get locked in, since we did see it play to the jungle both games in the round of 32, I guess we can call it. Out of NumberOne Esports when they were playing in this Invitational. So that one most likely going to be locked in. The Kalista, again, I'm kind of agreeing. It's a really kind of fun pick. It's kind of new, still being, worked out in terms of how to build her, in terms of how to play her. But with the Nami, it's a very kind of safe lane. You're going to have healing. You're going to have bubbles for protection. You're going to have that safety if you need it. And we'll see how this one's going to work out for them.
I mean, actually, I'm really intrigued to see how that works out. Nami, Kalista, I mean, that's a lot of initial damage. I always feel like Kalista... It's kind of in my mind that because of the Kalista ult, you want a tanky support. It's just, because you can throw him in, throw a Braum into the team kind of thing, But whereas I can see how a Nami would work, you have that sustain, you have that kind of enhanced auto-attack damage, and in the meantime, it looks like Aces High have got their eyes on a Kassadin mid and a Jace top lane.
Well, what I'm seeing right now on the side of NumberOne Esports is something a little bit deadly. They have a pick comp in terms of Pantheon stun into a Nami bubble, Maokai twisted advance. You're gonna get one person locked down, and hopefully, if you work out things correctly, you're gonna kill him. To me, that means they might go for like an Ahri mid lane, having another layer of CC to pile on top of that. On the other side, though, they have a Corki. The range isn't that far, but you do have the ability to escape with Valkyrie. You have a Cassin who can be very mobile, hop around as well. Jace can give that extra, speed to the team if needed, but also the extra poke, which can be very hard to deal with. And then with the Soraka as a support, you have so much healing that it's going to be very tough to do much to her in lane. Like Soraka, I remember talking to Demon, Joe, even some pro players, they're saying Soraka just is a beast in lane. She is so hard to beat, and they wouldn't be surprised to see some nerfs come in the future.
Yeah, because this ambulance Soraka is so very real. You'll work so hard, especially when you're in a kind of pokey composition like this Nami Kalista. You'll work so hard, get them down to 50%, and then they disappear into Fog of War and come back and they're nearly full. And you're like, welcome to the world of Soraka. And it's going to be interesting, I think, to say the least. The Jason Caston intrigues me just because Caston, obviously, very little poke. He has his Q, he's going to be okay in lane, but then you throw in a Jace on top of that and you get people down to half health, and then there's a Kassadin, that threat of a Kassadin. He can close gaps fast, assassinate quickly, and I think that's quite a nice combination from Aces High. In the meantime, though, you called it.
I'm so Jason good at this now. I don't know why. I sucked at this during LCS, but like after LCS ended, I could guess things exactly right.
You knew it was coming. I'm really impressed. I was sat there. There's like 127 champions. You pulled the one that they were planning on picking. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Well, it does help that he played Ahri in one of his games.
Oh, it does help. Yeah.
I didn't even look at that. I promise, guys. Either way, the picks have been locked in here. This is going to be interesting. Casting up against Maokai, going to be a really cool lane to see. I'm more actually curious about the bottom lane.
Like, I would love to.
Soraka can be very squishy. Corki can be relatively squishy. I feel like if one bubble lands, you can attempt 100 to 0 them. However, the Ignite that they're running with Nami will be mitigated when we do have Soraka hit level 6, so that will make things a little bit more difficult. But they have an amazing pick comp. Just like one charm in a twist advance into a stun at Pantheon, into a bubble, someone will die. And if Caston's not careful, you're talking about him coming in trying to finish someone off. If he's not careful, a Pantheon stun comes on top of him, and you will not escape that.
That's exactly the point I was about to make. I mean, yes, they've got their escapes. You've got a Kassadin who can get away. You've got a Flag and Drag Jarvan. You've got the Valkyrie from Corki. So they have their ways out, but those are also their avenues in. And so it's going to be a kind of a trade-off. Like, do we go in? We could get caught. There's charms to worry about. There's bubbles. In fact, 4 of the 5 members are a real threat. And so, I mean, to me, I think their main focus is going to be Aces High getting early advantage. Their entire composition requires Casting getting ahead early. It'd be nice to get Jace a couple of early kills. And so it really does revolve around the early game for Aces High.
And one thing I'm a little bit worried about is the Kalista pattern playing her. So the thing is, all right, Kalista can be very strong. I mean, I've heard she's ridiculously strong champion. But if you misposition once, since you don't have an escape, you're dead. And especially against this team who can just burst you down very quickly. So he has to be very confident to take it out in game number 1. You would say, game 1 in a best of 3, it can be kind of a filler game. It can be just, just feel each other out. But you don't want to be one map down in a best of 3 just from the beginning.
Yeah, it's give and take. I think if you surprise with Kalista, they weren't expecting it, anticipating it, and you do well, that's the first of the best of 3 already under your belt, and then you can go back to something you know. But then, of course, at the other side of that is you whip out Kalista, you go 0-4, your team flops, and it's just you go into the second map feeling pretty weak.
You sound like you've had some experience with that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't played it once.
But again, talk about the junglers. Talk about Jarvan. You mentioned the Flag and Drive that he has can be very instrumental when it comes to going for these ganks. I'm worried for him though. What lane can he gank? What hard CC does he have in any lane to provide a gank? Not really much. Not really any. He has a slow off of Kassadin. You have the potential snare out of Soraka if you time things correctly synergy-wise. But that's going to be really rough. On the other side, though, Pantheon, he has so many easy lanes to gank.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Pantheon, I always love Pantheon as a gank because it's even, come level 2, he gets red buff, he's got a stun and a spear. That's all you really need to get a gank going. And I think that's the power that he can have, especially in a lane where you've got, ganking for Ahri, easy, ganking for Maokai, easy, got Twisted Advance and Charm. This is a very nice matchup, setup, from NumberOne Esports. I like what they're doing here.
I do. And what's so great about it is the fact that you can still run this composition. You can't ever really ban it out because it doesn't depend on necessarily one champion. But again, like you mentioned, Aces High, if they play it smart, in the beginning, they get a lead, they can control the game, especially with kind of, I hate saying this when you see just Jace. Like back in the day, you would see Nidalee instantly say poke comp. But now when you see Jace, who kind of took her role, you think poke comp with that and Corki with the rockets coming in. So again, poke comps, if you have a strong start, you can carry that over. If you have a weak beginning, though, it doesn't really amount to much. You need to be the one attacking, not the one defending.
Yeah, I think it's a hybrid, I think. This isn't just a poke comp. This is a poke and a pick comp, a poik comp. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, it's a kind of a hybrid of the two, I feel, because, I mean, you have that cast in the Jarvan who can follow up on the poke, and I think, I mean, you know how much damage a kind of late game, mid game Jace can do. You have that followed up by an immediate Jarvan in your face. That's a very, very dead NumberOne Esports.
And you have to think about kind of dive buddies. You know, if Jarvan goes in, who's he holding hands with? I mean, it's not like dive comp, but if he goes in, if he EQs in and Cataclysms, who's going to help him?
What's the follow up? Yeah, no, it's a good question.
It's Kassadin. But if he does that, I mean, yeah, Rod of Ages helps get you a little bit tanky.
But then you remember what they've got under. You've got the bubbles, you've got the twisted advances. You're right. It's gonna be a really interesting one as we go into this one.
It's gonna be so rough. I think it just comes down to NumberOne Esports. It's taken them a little bit of time. They're finally breaking through a little bit in the international scene. But if they can pull off a win against Aces High, again, the team who picked up a map versus Dignitas, in a very one-sided fashion, then that would be a really, really good start for them, where they can come into potentially playing SK Prime or Dark Passage a little bit later on in the week.
Yeah, and I mean, those are some fun games that we've got coming up, guys. I know we've already mentioned it before, but we're going to be doing this throughout the week. I think we've come up, what's next? Next game is going to be SK Prime, right? SK Prime Dark Passage. Then we got a hard round of BPI Phoenix, and then Gamers 2 HWA, and then we have the semis. So we've got a whole lot of games to bring you this week. And so you're going to be tuning into this channel, same time every day.
All right, so we're going to drop in a game here. We had to actually cause a little bit of a delay here since we couldn't put a stream delay on, so we had to pause it while we were in game. We are in Tournament Realm, so hopefully no one does get DDoS or anything like that in this one. But here we go, kicking things off here. Aces High over on the blue side, and we'll have NumberOne Esports over on the red. All right, so just go over the lineups really quickly for both teams for you. I'll go over Aces High. You can get NumberOne Esports. We have Thaldrin, Theocles, Energy, Nardus, and Dumbledog. And over on the other side, I'll do it for you. I got this. We have Chrysange, we have Decagon, Moon. We have Afrox, we have Padden, and we have Swainpole.
And as we kick this one off, looks like we're going to see a pretty... I mean, the threat of Pantheon is the real thing in the early game. See Decagon just cautiously hanging out in that bush. He's going to be spotted out by Energy as he pops a little trinket in there. And we're talking about the early game. We're talking about the early advantage that Aces High were going to be looking for. And, I mean, we know that the laning phase for Thaldrin isn't going to be the easiest. Kassadin pre-6 can have an issue, or several issues up against Ari, especially with Pantheon supporting him.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how the Pantheon works out a little bit later on, because he can be very strong early on with the stun, but he also can be very deadly once he hits that level 6. You pair that in with a bubble in the bottom lane. Usually, when you see a Pantheon jungle, you want to run it with like a Leona support, because that's almost guaranteed 100% confirmed kills. Then he still has that bubble to land. He still has that kind of way to pick up some kills here. And you're already seeing Aces High be a little bit aggressive on the bottom side, trying to push in towards the blue buff, try to spot out NumberOne Esports and exactly where they're going to be going in the jungle here. And they will be starting off with the Gromp here. Going to be getting that little bit of a buff. But no, AD Carry Sports going for any early starts in terms of the camps, trying to get that early level 2.
Yeah, they're on the prowl for it. And really, this is the bot lane that we were looking forward to seeing. Corki and Soraka. Obviously, Soraka has to be cautious. If she takes poke herself, then she can't quite, the sustain lane the dream dies, and so she has to be cautious.
Well, you're seeing right there exactly why Kalista can be so strong. You saw the Phosphorus Bomb come in, and instead of having to run away, it was just a nice little leap away from after these auto attacks. But yeah, again, it can be the downfall. You can accidentally, go into them or be put in a bad position. But I'm curious to see what he's going to build. Is it like kind of an attack speed oriented build to have that high mobility, or will it be something a little bit different here? But in the meantime, Decagon picking up his blue buff, a little bit, I kind of want to say a little bit slow. You can see on the other side, though, Theocles is able to get his blue buff. We'll go back to base, and we'll return to get towards his red here in just a few.
Yeah, I think the reason we've seen junglers do it is obviously jungle does so much more damage now. And so these junglers, they tend to go for the one buff wolves, back up, get their jungle item, and then they can do a full health gank straight after their next second buff. That's
what makes Pantheon, like, funny enough, kind of safe in the jungle, is you have the ability to block the big monster from that one. But the downside is he's a little bit slow in the jungle. And by a little bit, you can see quite a bit. He's now moving over towards his red as Jarvan already went back to base, bot up, and is already at his red now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he takes less damage, but it takes him just a lot longer to get it done. So he's maybe going to be turning his attention to that mid lane after this red buff. I wouldn't be surprised if he does make an appearance. Try and do something to Ahri in that mid lane. Now, this is actually interesting to me. Jace and Ahri as a matchup. very much skill orientated. Both players have the ability to kind of 100 to 0 in this lane, and so as these two titans clash heads, we'll see who comes out on top.
We've already seen a nice little bit of a lead growing here for Energy. Up about 6 CS, not that much right now, but he's had some pretty solid control of the lane so far. He's doing maybe a little bit of nerves here for Afrox. Maybe that is it. Theocles, though, going to be coming in, looking for a gank here, going to get the knockup. No, gets flashed away from, and he will escape that.
Just chilling on half health. It's a step in the right direction, though, for them. As you can see in that top lane, this Kassadin Maokai. See, I was talking about top lane Kassadin. I was saying I wanted to see it, and Thaldrin is bringing it for me. He said Thaldrin's a threat, but looks like he's going to be taking a whole lot of early game damage. Yes, of course, Maokai does do magic damage. That magic shield is going to provide something, but we'll see whether or not it's enough. Has completely exhausted his mana bar, though, and that's going to mean a bit of free harass for Kassadin in that top lane.
Yeah, very true, and just see how that one's going to develop a little bit later on, because they're pretty much keeping equal in CS. Then again, you look back at mid lane, I pointed this out a little bit earlier between Energy and Afrox, and there's a big discrepancy happening, for a second time. Afrox back to base, won't miss out on any CS because the turret obviously wasn't shoved into him. And again, back towards bottom, tied up in CS. But approaching that point, 5 minutes in, might see a little bit more jungle interaction. Theocles head top side, looking here for a kill on a Maokai.
Maokai could be in trouble. Chrysantia's health is going low. The smite is there to slow him. Double flash. They really want the first blood. They do secure it, and they both get away scar-free. 5 minutes on that clock, and first blood already.
And Decagon looking for a gank bottom here. Looks like he won't be able to move in just yet. And with the lane being shoved into the turret, he won't be successful in that gank. So unfortunately, he's forced back in towards the jungle here. Actually, might go for a gank on the middle. But Flash and Exhaust is both up by Energy. So this would be very tough to pull off.
Energy is very much aware of the situation. Knocks Pantheon away. He says, not today. He's forced to flash away, though. That charm did connect, and the damage just rattled on in there afterwards. Energy brought low, but not low enough. He's looking to get a bit more abuse onto Pantheon. In the meantime, though, in that bot lane, flash forced onto Swain. Flash in response, though. Corki wants blood, and he's going to get it. Surely one more auto attack is all it's going to take. It's a double kill, as Padden had already been put into the grave. 3-0, and just 6 minutes in. Aces high. We said they needed to start strong, and they're doing just that.
Yes, they are, and I have to apologize, guys. I'm the one spectating this one. It's been a little bit of time. I've never been the best observer, so hopefully I won't miss any more kills so far. But Aces high, 3-0 lead, 6 minutes in, off to a very strong start here. A double kill on a Corki. That makes his lane so much easier. He's already built up a CS lead, and he's sitting on a whopping 2,100 gold. This is going to be looking very bad. We talked about, Aces high, if they want to win, they got to get, a relatively good early start, and they've been able to.
And they've been doing their very best to... as well as doing these early kills, they seem very well confident in terms of CS. Corki 55 to 40 in that bot lane, 41 to 36 in that mid lane, and even in the top, Kassadin, who's supposed to be having a real tough time with CS, has already got a slight lead.
Oh, they're baiting him in right now. Theocles getting a nice little bit of damage on Afrox. The stun comes in on Energy. They pick up the kills. He has no escape. Now Theocles has no flash to escape from that earlier top gank. He's going to get off this one as well here. So a double kill being picked up by Decagon. A fantastic little bit of a turnaround. They had a ward right here to spot him going into that bush. They had Decagon come in, and they pick up a kill.
Very smart play from them, almost leveling the gold out completely. It looks like they're maybe going to be turning their attention to Dragon now. 3 men, make it 4 men is all it's going to take, and there's nothing really that Aces High can do to stop them. And first Dragon buff's going to be coming away. That's 6% AD and AP. And that's going to put them, once again, back in the driving seat, especially in terms of gold and also the power.
And that's only going to make them stronger as the game does develop on a little bit more. But again, fantastic, just a little bit of a turnaround. I mean, they use the advantage of that vision of Theocles getting a little bit too aggressive, feeling a little bit too cocky after netting the kill top lane. And now it puts them a little bit behind. They're not down in gold just yet, obviously. But they are down the Dragon buff now. And Control is going to start to go over to NumberOne Esports if they can continue this.
Yeah, I mean, Control is still very much in the hands of the bot lane of Aces High. You can see a Phage already, as well as an Amplifying Tome, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage. That Corki is a threat. Kalista, just a pickaxe and boots to his name. So Padden going to have to be perhaps being a bit more passive in this bot lane. You can see he's actually going a little bit differently, dancing through all of the skill shots that's thrown at them. And of course, Aces High, they're a very skill shot-based team in that bot lane. Dumble Doge just has skill shots in his heel. And Padden can just dart it through almost everything they throw at them. Phosphorus Bomb probably hit about once in 5. He darts once again backwards, courtesy of Nam.
Not gonna lie, it's a really awesome thing to see him just dancing in and out like that, dodging
it?
rockets, dodging Phosphorus Bombs. But again, yeah, they have died in the bottom lane. They've lost a kill apiece or death apiece. But once Decagon hits level 6, which he has now done, he can go for some very easy ganks into this bottom lane. It looks like he's actually preparing for it right now. Just went for maybe a bubble, maybe for the right time, maybe the spot where Theocles is. And he's just waiting for that moment, and all it takes is a bubble. Here we go.
This is going to be it. The Mandrop's coming in, as is the Valkyrie. It's just going to land slap bang on Corki's face. One down, looking for Soraka. I don't think they're going to quite manage it, but the TP's coming in as well. They're looking to respond. Padden's gone so deep. What's he doing? Kill into Nardius' hands as the TP did get cancelled, and that is all said and done. Looks like in that top lane, though, it's getting a bit messy for Maokai.
It is, and I'm not sure if he's going to escape this one here. Thaldrin just try to chase him down. One more Rift Walk should be enough. And he nets himself a kill as well here. But Padden, I mean, on that bottom side, what he did was he was trapped. Like, he had teleport coming from behind him. He had Soraka in the front. He was tanking turret hits. He's like, all right, I might as well try to pick up this kill. I know I'm going to die. And, well, he got creep blocked on his way out when he realized that the Maokai teleport was canceled. So, unfortunately for him, he goes down, feeds Corki another kill, and he's returned back to lane here with that Sheen. It's
a living nightmare. It really is. Corki getting kill after kill. Padden feeling like he had an advantage and ends up just giving his rival yet more gold. Looks like Theocles changing his mind on this red buff, being very cautious, trying to steal it away. No real threat. In fact, energy is around to keep him safe and sound during this process.
Well, this is the advantage, too, because you think about it, you know, they knew Pantheon dropped bottom. They knew he didn't have his red buff, and they knew it was up. So why not take it away from him, punish him for that gank? And now Decagon, unfortunately, going to be a little bit too late to really do anything about that. They had a word to spot, you know, it being done or it being in the process of being done. And there's not much they could do about it without that, without pretty much anything there to do to ult him with. But now Afrox being forced back here, and he's dead. Energy picking up another kill. Who's now at, or sorry, his first kill at 1-1. But Aces High, I mean, they seem to take advantage of where NumberOne Esports are and just kind of punishing him for it.
Talking of punishment, look at the damage being done to Nardius in that bot lane. He's going low. Padden's trying to do his best. Chrysan just TP down the Maokai there, just the bodyguard to make sure his AD carry gets out safely. And another kill goes in favor of NumberOne Esports. And this is kind of back and forth. It's a very manic first 10 minutes. I mean, compare this to some other games. I mean, we wouldn't have seen a kill yet, and these guys are going clashing back and forth.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we're on EU West right now, does it?
It doesn't feel like it, no.
All right, well, Padden able to pick up a kill 2 now for him currently, sitting on that Zeal and that pickaxe. And the tier building up. Just curious exactly what the stacks are at. About 261 out of 750, so on its way. Not done just yet. But now with that middle turret being down, you have to worry about that threat of energy rotating around. He has the speed up, has that gate, and he can get to bottom or top very, very quickly. So now both these lanes have to be very careful. And Afrox, I mean, he could follow him in these ganks if he does ward up appropriately. All he has to do is shove the lane in, force him to miss a little bit of CS, and then you can roam around as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ari is a mobile mid laner anyway. He's a mobile assassin, and he needs to start making a move perhaps towards that top lane. I feel like Maokai is just going to keep doing what he does unless he's stopped. Thaldrin just backing away. God does have that pink ward, so he's got some kind of security from Pantheon ganks.
Well, the man drop is back up here, and he's looking topside.
Yeah, they're pinging the wards. They know what Thaldrin has warded, and I think perhaps you're right. I think the man drop is all too much of a possibility. In the meantime, though, Dragon Timer, the ace is high, trying to get some vision, get the Scuttle Crab to ensure some Riven vision, and 1 minute 20 on the timer for Drake.
Yeah, so this is a really risky gank if he did go for it. I was thinking about it, like you mentioned, Dragon a minute 20 seconds. If he ulted top, got the kill, Caster would be back alive in time. It wouldn't really matter. If anything, you want to gank bottom with about 30 seconds left on Dragon, because that way, you're either going to pick up a kill or you force them back to base, and it allows you to go for a relatively easy Dragon. Though you have to be careful of the poke, and Theocles already head up towards his top side here. They're looking for a kill on Maokai, and if Chrysange can just stay alive for a while, for about maybe 30 seconds more, if he doesn't engage this, then he can buy enough time for the rest of his team to go for Dragon once Theocles goes in.
Yeah, neither top laner has TP, so they're pretty much out of this Dragon fight if it continues this way. But of course, Theocles positioning, if his whereabouts are known, that's going to be a free Dragon. Oh dear, one dead tree. He's getting chopped down already.
Yeah, he's gone on that one right there, unfortunately. So he goes down from that. Another kill going over the side of Aces High. 7-4 here, 13 minutes in. But now Theocles heading back to base as quick as he can. He knows Dragon's coming up soon. And it looks like Decagon tried to go for some sort of gank on this bottom side, but didn't commit flash, didn't commit his ultimate. And we'll be saving up here for a little bit longer.
Oh, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. If you do hear me disappear, I've still got a bit of a tickly cough, and I will probably, just to spare your ears, the sound of my coughing vanish from the sounds. And it looks like top lane is he gonna get the turret? I don't think he's gonna manage it just yet, but he's done a considerable amount of damage to it. Oh, that was a close call. In the meantime, mid lane is getting exciting. Energy is going to be going down. Afrox just putting a whole lot of damage down in such a short space of time. Swainpole could be in trouble, though. Looks like the wave does get flashed over. Nardi is so strong and so aggressive. He's looking for a second head on his mantelpiece, and Padden is going to be just that. He goes down, another double kill for that bot lane, and Aces High's Corki is sat on a lovely 5 for 2.
Oh, even teleport coming from Thaldron here. They may be looking for Dragon. Frox might get caught out. Not going to get slowed up. Charm comes in off the Oculus, looking for the Ignite and the kill, but the Grievous Wind going to be cleaned off. But unfortunately, he should survive this. Even Soraka rushing in for the safety. Picks up the heal, and that should be a Dragon. I'll go over to Aces High. And you think about how this just happened with technically 4 deaths when we saw Swainpool, we saw Padden, we saw Chrysange all die in a matter of a few seconds. Then Frox right there, they give away a Dragon, they give away 4 kills, and they've given away, honestly, a big lead now to Aces High.
Yeah, Aces High is going to be happy to take that Dragon off the back of that. They knew they needed to force it. The casting TP into that mid lane was really well thought out from Thaldron. It is perhaps going to cost him his top turret, but small price to pay. I mean, look at that gold lead now. 24,000 to just under 20. Looks like Energy is going to be able to keep that top turret to live another day as well. 15-minute mark about to be reached, and 10 to 5. 15 kills already seen. That's a kill a minute, Jason.
It is. That's very nice to see, especially when you're playing on the US tier. But Thaldron going to get very aggressive. He's going to be spot out by Ward, I believe, and they know exactly where he is here. They have Pantheon. They have all the tools they need to pick up a relatively easy kill. They just need to just go towards him. And Thaldron, is he just going to sit in this bush? He's not being spotted out here.
Is he going to catch Pantheon?
I'm trying to think like what he can see, and he does know they're bottom. He's actually going to hop over this wall here with Riftwalk. He's looking for a kill here. Pantheon's going back to base. Needs to ult down towards his bottom side, but it's on cooldown now.
This is fantastic play from Thaldron. Patience is surely going to pay off. Nami's in trouble, but the Kalista ultimate is there. That is another use of that powerful ultimate. Manages to throw his support to safety, and Thaldron is now just wasting time in that bot lane.
That was beautiful. You saw what they did. They had Swainpole just rush down towards the bomb side, stay further away from Padden, and pulled him in, but now he's getting chased on by Thaldron. Valkyrie's going to pick up the kill on Anami, and now we might still cast it and actually go down. The Oculus Cactus on top of him. The teleport going to be coming in from Chrysange. Gets the twisted advance on the Oculus, but Padden trying to look for some damage. He's getting chased down by Nardis. Maokai picks up the kill on a Jarvan, but now he's being forced to back away. He doesn't really have support he needs here, and he might even eventually go down for this one. The Trinity Force on Corki's good, and now they can go for this 2-man dive.
This is insane. He has the support from Soraka. He has that sustain from Soraka. They can't quite risk it. Cancel some recalls with some rockets maybe, but I mean, this is just a crazy game. 16 minutes in, we've seen so many aggressive TPs. We saw an aggressive Valkyrie from Nardius. Not something I'm so used to seeing. But, I mean, it's all happening. 12 to 7 now. Aces High still maintaining their lead to some degree. NumberOne Esports seem to have an answer to most things that Aces High throw at them, though. And, I mean, Afrox, 140 CS to 138 of energy. He's definitely behind in that regard. And equal on kills, so gold not quite equal. He has picked up the Morellonomicon though, so he is a threat. He has that cooldown reduction as well as a nice handsome helping of AP. And the buy for his counterpart, Jace is rocking Brutalizer and the Muramana.
And I think eventually a Last Whisper here with that pickaxe picked up. And you know, I think the real story is this bottom lane. We talked about it. We were curious to see how this matchup would go. And look at the difference in gold. It's about 1,000 right now. And that's a Trinity Force in the hands here of Nardis. And that's going to make it that much easier. You saw the crits. You saw the damage he was doing before. And Padden, unfortunately, just falling a little bit further behind now. You see he's down not that bad in CS. But if Nardis just engages on him right here, this should be a kill.
Should be. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Nardis is just happily farming under his turret. Just relaxing, chilling. Padden, so cautious. He's had so many threats thrown at him. He's had the Kassadin making an appearance in bot lane. He's had Jarvan appearing from every single bush that kind of sits on bot lane. And so, cautious AD carry. Looks like Pantheon's turning attention to mid lane. NG could be in trouble. Nice flash. Decagon Moon doing so much damage. Afrox is there to finish the job. And another kill added to NumberOne's talent.
Looks like Thaldron might try to go in and do a little bit of damage here. If the Oculus coming from the side, the knock-up not going to lay on the Cataclysm. Going to hit, but Afrox has the charges of that ultimate. He's going to escape this one. And this is something that I've just been worried about, or wondering. You know, Decagon, he has guaranteed kills middle every time, it seems, because all he has to do is land that ultimate behind them, you know, relatively close, and then you have the stun, the charm, doesn't matter if he has flash, and Afrox will pick up a kill. This is your solid way to get him back in the game here. And Chrysange, looks like he might be able to escape this one, just barely.
Yeah, beautiful execution, just hitting that recall button at the perfect time. And I mean, the thing about this comp you were just highlighting perfectly is that we said it before, Aces High need to get ahead early, and they've done that. They have that. We have got a very nicely fed Corki, got a Triforce at 18 minutes, Kassadin on his way already, got his Rod of Ages. They've done everything right. However, I'm still favoring this NumberOne Esports, like, play, their pick comp, this whole combination of lockups just seems so strong and such a threat to, I mean, yes, you have a well-fed Corki, but you get one charm, one stun, one twisted advance, and one bubble. I can continue to list them, and he's in trouble.
I want to see a team fight. That's what I'm looking for.
Great,
that'll be the determining factor for me. And, you know, the thing about a pick comp, which I mentioned before, is that you need to get ahead, and they've been able to do that. And all they need to do is just go on the siege, be the aggressor, because if they're forced to play defensive, they can't really do the damage they need to. Yes, they can wave clear, you know, with Jace and Corki, but they want to be poking as much as possible. They want to, you know, force someone on NumberOne Esports to back away to base, to heal up, maybe even buy in there, so they can go for a fight, or maybe just the turret. And it might come around this dragon. About a minute left to go on that one. We might finally see a first little bit of, you know, 5-on-5 team fight action.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, you're right. That's going to be the first team fight we're going to see. Obviously, both teams have picked up one dragon apiece, and they're going to be hungry for that second. Also, a lot of action in the bot lane. Nadia's trying to battle against the bouncy Kalista. She's everywhere. Padden just showing us how to give us a little masterclass in Kalista. As
I think they heard me. Oh, is the ulti
Seeing
bottom?
A man drop. I think it is going to be down that bot lane. Dumble Doges could be in trouble. And look at the Soraka disappear. Padden going low as well. Looks like Chauvin's here to clean up as he does the Cataclysm into 2. Looking for a third as well. Decagon Moon is going low. Jungle v Jungle. Pantheon comes out as the victor. And 14-11 as the dust settles in a 3-for-2 exchange.
Yeah, you can't really take a Pantheon down like that in a one-on-one when he has that guaranteed crit when you're below 15%. And Fox was waiting on Tribush to even clean up if he did fall from that one. But he was actually trying to catch our energy, rotating around from middle to bottom. And now they might even look out. I thought they were going to look for Maokai here, but instead, going to take the Scuttle Crab. So 14-11, 20.5 minutes in. A lot of kills on the board. And the goal difference, it's still pretty big here. I just want to see it translate into items a little bit more. And I think, you know, with the 1,200 to spend here on energy, that last Sister will be coming up. And that's maybe their moment to really start to push. Thaldrin, he's working towards Azonias, which can be definitely a nice item to go for these poke comps with, especially when he's trying to dive in with the Achilles. But, you know, get the last Whisper in, maybe a little bit of Lifesteal here onto Corki, and they can afford to poke and just push.
It's all about the poke and push combination. You're absolutely right. Dragon is live now, and you can see they are giving it a tickle. Looking to perhaps get it done without a response, but it looks like that TP is coming in. They're going to be trying to do their best to make a move, scrying there just to ensure they have full vision of their opponents as the wards and vision battle begins. Bit of a stalemate at the moment. Looks like Theocles is starting the dragon. He's looking to make it happen. Here comes the TP in response. Maokai on his way in. Is he going to go all the way, though? Looks like the dragon's been completed already. Aces High could be caught in a bit of a sticky situation here as Pantheon is going to make an appearance. Decagon Moon tries to do something onto Jarvan. He flashes away from this one. Double Doge is in trouble as he backs away, and this is going to be a hunt.
Well, they're looking for someone here, but I think Energy might have just got the distance he needed, especially with the warp wall or the wall coming in. But either way, he gets caught out, and he will go down from this one. It's another kill coming in for NumberOne Esports. But Thaldrin cleans up one himself onto Maokai. And now you can see NumberOne on the retreat here. Alphax getting very low. The charm comes in, and Thaldrin might fall for something. Knight's taken away. He will fall. Now Nard is going to go down from this on top of that, and that would be almost an ace coming in with Theocles, the only man to escape this one. And right now, NumberOne Esports only lost one.
Quite the consolation prize. 2 deaths, yes. 4 kills for a dragon. I think they're quite happy to give that one up. Turret as well. They take the mid turret. They're probably going to get a second as well off the back of this one, unless Theocles has something magic up his sleeve. Doesn't look like he's going to have anything.
Yeah, you can't really do much to defend this here. They're not going to take the turret, but still a very questionable play out of Dumbledog right there. Oh, he might actually catch out Pantheon here off to the side, but Theocles needs some help. And Decagon will get the heal. He will escape this one from Nami. And now look at this. Padden going in for more here. Looking for Theocles. Gets exhausted up. And the ultimate being used out of Dumble just to keep him alive. And I wish I kind of want to go back and see a replay of that fight towards Dragon, because Dumbledog, he like ran into the enemy team by himself and didn't use his ultimate, didn't flash, didn't exhaust, didn't heal. I don't know if he was charmed into that, but with him going down, they lost their real support they needed in terms of healing to keep everyone alive. It looks like we'll have that up on the screen here just in a little bit, as we're going to go back a little bit further on that, just to see exactly again what happened to that Soraka. And I believe we can head over really quick, just kind of show you exactly how that went down. All right, so as you can see, we can speed up a little bit more than that. It's a little bit after that. He's gonna be, actually, they're gonna get Dragon, and they're gonna back away. And now it's slowed down right here. Now watch Soraka. What does he do? I want to say it's a charm.
So Soraka just kind of sitting
right
back.
here.
Yeah, the back line.
Walks in.
Like,
why? Not charmed.
What are you achieving? That's a great spot. He genuinely just walked towards Dragon. It's a complete mistake. It's an error on his part.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that was about here, but in the meantime, we did miss 1 kill onto Theocles, but that's it. Just wanted to spot that replay because that was really questionable, and you know, a play like that costing you 4 people, well, 3 people after yourself, can really turn the tides of a game. And now you can see the life in the side of NumberOne Esports. They, you know, they're tied up in kills now. They're approaching equal in gold. And this is where things get really deadly. We talked about the pit comp before. They're getting tanky. They're getting the damage needed. The Infinity Edge and Static Shiv done for Padden now, who was struggling for a majority of the game with all those ganks. And he's really started to show some life.
Starting to show something, certainly, as the kills are now level. Gold getting the similar way as well. Looks like Jarvan's trying to make something happen onto the fish. Here comes the wave, though. They're trying to ride as best they can, and look at the magic of Kalista.
And the thing is, what's so funny about that, we talked about earlier on, like a really kind of weird support to play when you want a Braum, you want a tanky, you know, Leona to go in to, you know, knock them up.
Yeah.
But we never consider the idea of using it as an escape instead of an engage.
Exactly. I mean, they don't lack engage. You're absolutely right. So this ultimate is almost entirely been used as a defensive mechanism, and it works beautifully. You can have Nami in a kind of more offensive than you normally would. You can take more risks with Nami, go for a couple of aggressive kind of engage bubbles, and then bring her back if something goes wrong. And I think you're right. It's something I hadn't quite considered, and I feel kind of silly for not considering it as a disengage ultimate.
Well, I mean, it's what, the first time we've seen Kalista, or casted Kalista, so I think we can get away with this one. Oh, look at this Corki. We should not be able to escape this one. He should go down. Even Decagon coming in, gets a stun. Flashes right into him. Yeah, he flashed right into him trying to escape. And that will be him now going down. 17 to 16, NumberOne Esports finally picking up the kill lead here for the first time of the game. Look at Sange. He should survive this one, but Thaldron, he's trying to chase him down. He wants this.
He wants this Maokai's blood. Do trees bleed? I don't even know. He's going for it. He wants Maokai's sap, and he's doing his very best. Jarvan's going to be hitting him with everything he's got, but we know from the past, Theocles does no damage. Finally, Kasdin manages to do that at the hands of Thaldron and levels out the kills once more.
And here we go, another turret going down the bottom side here. This is going to give a 4-2 turret kill lead here for NumberOne Esports. And again, this is a team, you know, it's been playing for such a long time. They've, you know, unfortunately, you know, they didn't qualify in the Turkish Champions League back in 2014. They finally did in 2015. And, you know, it's a team that really wants more. You know, it's a team that's really hungry, you know, for exposure, for winning. And honestly, they've showed up so far. We had a favorites as Aces High, see them in Cologne taking a map off a dig, and, you know, just their history alone. But this is a very close game.
Yeah, and interestingly, actually, Holy Phoenix from Dark Passage used to AD carry for these guys. NumberOne Esports, he used to. And so, I mean, the fact that he's... I mean, I'd consider Holy Phoenix one of the stronger AD carries from Turkey just because of the power that we've seen from Dark Passage. And interesting to see that a strong AD carry like that has actually kind of left it. He sat back, and we see Padden now on Kalista doing his thing.
5, 4, and 6 here. Maybe I can buy with 1,800 gold to spend. That's what he picks up here. The defensive arm going to continue to be offensive. Maybe a Vamp Scepter. No, goes for a Brutalizer. Let's go for some more damage. And we see the DFG Morellonomicon combo here now for Afrox, working towards his Zonias as well. But dragging up in about 30 seconds time, you can see Aces High preparing for it. They're getting some vision down, trying to get some sort of control around this area. But this is going to be deadly. Remember what happened last Dragon? Dumbledore kind of walked into them, maybe a little bit miscommunication, and he died. Then they lost 3 more men after him for a 4-for-2 exchange. They did pick up Dragon, though. They do have those 2 stacks, I believe. And the second stack for NumberOne Esports would honestly be perfect at this point in the game. Swain going to get caught out here.
Yeah, there could be a lot of trouble. There's going to be some bloodshed in the river. Thaldron's going low. TP's coming in. Looks like Decagon rather, not Dragon Moon, is going to try and do something. Exhaust exchanged as well. Padden going low. Looks like they're trying to connect onto Jace. They do just that. Energy gone down. Doge going low. Ignite ticking away on him. Looks like Corki's gone down. 3 heads. Make it 4 now, as Jarvan does respond with 1, but he goes down. It's a near race. Just Thaldron remaining. And he had that Rift Walk to get away. But look at that. His team is just littering the battlefield with their corpses.
And the split that they were able to pull off of this was fantastic. The thing is, they pushed in towards this Tribush area. They forced 2 members back, Soraka and Corki, I believe that was. They forced Theocles' energy to come in from the top side. They had them completely split. And then once the bottom side escaped, Nardius and Dumbledore, even though they died in the end, they just went for a hard turn and picked up the kill. And that was just honestly fantastically well played by them. They're going to go for a Baron off of this. I don't think Thaldron could do much about it to really defend it. He's actually going to teleport in towards middle turret, trying to get there as quick as possible here with that Rift Walk. With Baron falling pretty quickly.
Falling fast, and I don't know really if they have anything to respond with this at the moment. Baron around at half health. Only man really in a position to do anything. It's Thaldron. He knows he's probably going to... I mean, he could go in. He could get... Oh, he does. Takes down Pantheon. Zhonya's immediately trying to waste some time. Baron goes over courtesy of Nami, but he's on the hunt. He wants to get rid of as many Baron buffs as he can. Gets a second. Looking for it, perhaps potential onto Padden. He's going to get it, surely. Padden's got so low. Just a millimeter of health, but he dashes, dance, and ducks away. Gets away. Maokai not so lucky. And Padden, you lucky sausage.
Yeah, really unfortunate here for NumberOne Esports. They didn't have the damage, I guess, they were looking for to finish off that Baron, but credit to Thalger out there where it's due. Go in and pick up the kill onto the Smiter. Zonyazine, just to buy some time for Baron to do more damage to the enemy team, picks up a second over on a Swain pull, and in the end, able to pick up a kill on the Chrysange too. So they almost eliminated every single Baron buff, tie things back up here at 21 apiece, and they're still maintaining a gold lead by 1,000.
It does feel close, doesn't it, Jason? It feels like both teams have such potential, such interesting compositions as well. They're definitely not the same. There's such a stark difference between the two, and it's interesting to see what team fights favorite each composition. And we've seen Thaldrin kind of using the power of casting to kind of mop up. So that suggests, that's what we were talking about before. We're saying that you have a Jace, they have a Corki. That poke initially, followed up by what Thaldrin just did at Baron, that's kind of the fight that they want. That's the fight Aces High hunger for. And NumberOne not planning on giving them that again.
The only thing I wonder is, was that kind of, not a fluke, but was that a mistake when NumberOne to go for Baron? Because, they assumed, they killed 4 people, they could easily well go for Baron. But they really didn't take into account Thaldrin right there. And I want to say that NumberOne Esports still are in the lead in terms of when it comes to these fights, but they cannot afford to make mistakes like that. Theocles now is 7-5. You look at, Anardis, he's 7-6 here, really getting stacked with some items. But NumberOne Esports, they still have that strong composition of picking someone off very, very fast. And you mentioned Patton time and time again. And look at him, finished off the Yoma's Ghostblade. He has a lot of damage, escaping with a millimeter of life in that last fight. If they can keep him alive and, just hit their CC, then these should be free kills.
It should be.
I feel like NumberOne should have just fallen off of Baron and went straight for Thaldrin.
They have a Pantheon stun. That's a dead Kassadin in that stun.
Yeah, and luckily for them, they do have 2 Baron buffs, so they still can shove with these buffed up minions with Panda Baron. So it's not like that big of a loss for losing 2 people. Or 3 people, sorry.
It does rule out
But you lose momentum.
It does rule out split push. I love seeing the Baron buff go into perhaps a tanky Maokai, like we do see already in Chrysange, and they just pop him down bot lane, and there's a big buffed wave. Looks like they're going to do that actually in their top lane. They're sending their sights on that. Going to be making a push into that top lane.
This is risky, though.
It is. It's a risk. It's going to be a 5v4, sorry, as Chrysange has made his whereabouts well and truly known in that bot lane.
That's the thing.
And he has no way to get up to that top lane. Now Fox going low, but not low enough. Energy trying to do his own bit. As Thaldrin forced to go gold. This is Zonya's used. As he's on the hunt, just managed to connect the slow on towards Nami. But of course we know they have that disengage ultimate just in the back pocket in case they need it. Scrying all coming out is, I think Thaldrin's tempted. Kassadin is tempted to go for this Rift Walk. He's trying to take down the fish, can't quite connect, and backs away for another day. Safe and sound for now.
If Chrysange was there, they could have bursted down Kassadin relatively easy. That zone is like, all right, a free bubble, a free Twisted Advance, free Pantheon stun, and you're dead. But unfortunately for NumberOne Esports, they did have Chrysange pushing bottom. Southport will be up relatively soon, and he's got the gold for that Frozen Heart to finish when he goes back. So he's going to be a tanky monster now. Is that what, 188 armor, 103 magic resist? That'll be buffed up a little bit more here to deal with Energy and Nardis in their damage. But one thing he needs to take into account, Thaldrin's doing some good DPS now. He's got some, relatively good AP. He's got that Void Staff finished off, 341 ability power, and he eats through that Spirit Visage.
Yeah, Spirit Visage, he's still tanky. That Frozen Heart Rod is enough to just be a bit of a brick wall. And, I know that it's not going to be a priority target. Chrysange is still a threat. His score line doesn't necessarily reflect that, but he's certainly a kind of tanky threat. But like you said, you can see the items getting picked up once again. Triforce Bloodthirst, the Last Whisper is such a strong Corki build. And Jace getting equally as strong now. He has that Last Whisper in his bag. BF Sword as well alongside a Brutalizer. That's a whole lot of AD. And Energy, he doesn't necessarily have it in kills, but he has it in CS. 260 CS now to just 220 of Ari. It doesn't sound like much, but it's that little tiny bit of gold that is favoring them. 500 gold in favor of Aces High at the moment. It seems like nothing in comparison to that early gold lead that we saw.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was over 4,000 or 5,000, and when you're 15, 20 minutes in, that's a lot of gold. But now 21 minutes in, the difference is minimal at this point. Really doesn't amount to anything here. So it comes down to who's going to outperform each other in these team fights, who's going to catch the other off guard, who can get better vision control. And it looks like with 25 seconds to go, both teams trying to set up for Baron here, but NumberOne Esports getting the better position, being over on the red side. But of course, the Scuttle Crab going to be very useful here for this fight.
Yeah, gives them that movement speed, enables them to kind of
no, more importantly, Aces High have it. Oh, no, sorry. Wow, I'm mistaken. I don't know why I said that. I was about to say, I thought Aces High had it.
That would have been really good.
That would have been. But NumberOne Esports have it. Dragon spawning in now. And here we go. Remember last time we saw Dragon fight? And went over to NumberOne Esports.
Yep, 2 dragons apiece. Both teams have a dragon. Oh, sorry, 2, I should say. And they're looking for that third. Obviously very important. Once you reach that 5, it's a very strong buff. And they look to be clearing it as fast as they possibly can. NumberOne Esports doesn't look like Aces High are going to contest this one. Looks like they're going to let them get it. Give them that 5% passive movement speed. And let's see what that gives. I mean, all that does is makes Padden even more difficult to catch.
It does. And honestly, I want to say it was a smart play of Aces High. They realize they can't win these fights in a head-to-head fight. They need to be poking down. They need to have energy, connect with some good shock blasts to allow them to get a little bit low so they can go for the picks. But right now, again, I can't stress this enough. Poke comp, if you fall behind early on or if you aren't the aggressor, then the whole poke comp doesn't really do too much. It's going to take, not a miracle, but it's going to take another big mess up here for NumberOne Esports for them to get back in this.
Yeah, and I mean, it does feel like they're kind of falling flat a little bit.
Luckily I will say this for Aces High, luckily for them, it seems like NumberOne Esports are struggling to finish, struggling to make the next move into an objective.
Yeah, they do seem pretty apprehensive. We saw them consider that top push with Baron, then kind of back away from it when they saw Thadrin, and they seem to be a little hesitant, a little cautious with everything they do, and I think probably, I mean, being this is their stage. They want to prove themselves. They want to get some recognition, and they're cautious. They want to make a slip up. I think you're absolutely right.
Seeing camping the blue bush when you're pushing top lane already is a sign of we're not exactly sure what to do right now. But luckily they're able to catch out someone. Like they're hoping for Aces High to make a mistake, pushing in to get caught up towards blue.
Mistakes, though.
But the thing is, like, they can't count on the other team to make a mistake when they have a better team fight team, or when NumberOne Esports have the better team fight team. Like they're the ones that want the engages. But now Baron back up. Don't think they're going to go for a second time, but they have complete vision. Look at this. I'm showing you the side of Aces High, what they can see. Nothing around Baron here. And they will honestly get the Scrying Orb. They see Baron, I believe, is still alive. And here comes the tidal wave. They're looking for the fight.
They're looking for it, and they find it. Connect onto Soraka. Dumbledore's using everything in his arsenal to survive, but it looks like that Twisted Advance pursuing the Valkyrie. Krisange doing his best, but he's a bit too deep. In the meantime, though, the huge Cataclysm traps 3 members of NumberOne Esports. They're forced to flash away. Afrox could be in trouble, forced to ultimate passively, just trying to get away, but Kassadin says no. Thaldrin on the pursue, and you can't run away from a Kassadin, perhaps with his slightly nerfed Rift Walk, but he's still on the prowl, and they do have that acceleration gate to increase their movement speed, and not going to be quite enough. They do, of course, have, and NumberOne Esports, of course, have that little bit of increased movement speed. It aids their retreat, and that, all said and done, is a pretty poor exchange for NumberOne Esports.
Yeah, that fight came down to, Decagon ulting into the backline, going for Dumbledore, wasn't able to pick up the kill. They committed, quite a bit to go for him, but unfortunately wasn't able to. As we do see, they know Baron is being started here, so they're going to try to run over to him. He has no flashing over the wall, but then it also had the problem of, you had Afrox, Padden, and Swainpole grouping up for EQ combo out of Jarvan, then the Cataclysm to lock them down. Decagon trying to go in, gets the steal! What a man! How to hit, picks that one up, and denies it from Aces High.
I just stood up. I wish there was a camera. Oh my lord! I was sat there following him. I do not believe my eyes.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back and look at that one in just a little bit here to see exactly how the man just strutting in, swagging in, picks up the smite steal. I can't believe I just said swag on a cast. Stealing it away. That should not happen. And why don't we just switch over to your screen really quickly so we can show that one, because that was something that can turn around this game here for NumberOne Esports. Actually, no, we'll go ahead and show that replay.
Yeah, let's have a look. So, I mean, you can see him here. He's just strolling. They're aware of his presence.
He has no vision of Baron
to
steal it. He just walks in, sees, oh, it's low.
Oh, hey, guys. Oh, don't mind me. Yep. Oh, yep. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll just take that. Don't mind me. Oh, you're killing me. I don't mind. And he just walks off. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, he doesn't walk off, but he does do a fantastic job of that steal. So keep it on the side here of NumberOne Esports, keeping him in this first game of the best of 3. We'll see a shutdown come in. Padden getting taken down by Nardus, getting a little bit too aggressive. And this is kind of what we saw earlier with Baron. They tried to make something happen off of it, but they didn't. They backed away, and now a man getting caught out. This is going to force NumberOne Esports for that Baron, but they just got not really amount to anything.
Nothing to show for it yet.
Oh, why is he going in? Why is he doing this?
Is he about to make a similar mistake? The fish could be caught out. Oh, dearie me. No escape this time. Nardius picks up that one. He's looking for a second as well onto Dragon Moon. But
right there! Of all places!
Dragon
Why
Moon,
would you go there?
Oh, dear. Decagon just making a complete fool of himself as he just man drops an inch to his right. Does go down, just delaying the inevitable. And that's going to start a tidal wave of turret deaths.
We've seen the complete polar opposites of him now, with the walk-in smite seal and then the 2 inches to the right man drop. I am not sure what he did. He could have stayed alive. I don't know if it would have been enough to stop them from pushing down this inhibitor, but mistakes again with Patton getting caught out, with Decagon getting caught out like we just said, and Swampole. We just mentioned this is a bad push for you. You're 4-on-5, and then Theocles comes in from the south side, picks up an easy EQ, and nets them 2 more kills. They pick up 3. The Baron buff still on Cressange here, but honestly, what are they going to do with that? They're too afraid. They don't have their main stunner up. Big mistakes here.
Huge mistakes. It seems to be, I mean, you said it before, they're waiting for their opponent to make a mistake. Both teams seem to be doing that exact strategy. And it's working out when you're having Pantheon plays like that on both sides. Walking in, smiting Baron, a huge example of a poor mistake from from Aces High. And then we switch it over, and Decagon Moon just, I don't know, trying to escape, I guess?
I didn't know. I thought the Super Bowl was in February for some great throws, but... I will give this to NumberOne Esports. They had a really strong mid game. Oh, what is happening in this game? Now Dumbledore getting taken down here. An easy kill. Now they're going to have the man advantage here. They have Pantheon coming back in. They can shove middle with the hand of Baron buff here still on Crescent. Oh, no, it just wore off. No!
The pushing power has been snatched away from them.
And but Dragon is up, though, and that would be their 4th stack.
That would be their 4th stack. 1 stack away if they do secure this from that deadly 5. Now, we've seen some
Come on, Smog.
I don't think there's nothing Aces High can do. They're just going to have to watch this one go down and be well aware that their team is going to have yet another Dragon buff in their belt. Tower destruction, of course, very, very strong at this stage in the game. When you reach that 40-minute mark, when turrets are falling in 2-3 seconds, they're going to be falling in 1.5. It's pretty scary.
The only thing I'll say to that is when they do push turrets, when they finally do.
When it's like
it's like, all right, guys, we got Baron, awesome, let's push top. Oh, Patton gets caught out. Okay, let's just back away. Oh, no, we see them. We can catch them. And 3 of us are done.
It really is. It's a battle.
The thing is, that's one thing you always see in League of Legends, right? Not from newer teams, but, teams who are on the top tier level, problems finishing games. And we're seeing that, a little bit from both teams here, though Aces High taking, I guess, more of advantage of the mistakes being made by NumberOne Esports. And it's not like, these teams are bad. Like, they're not bad in any right. But finishing games sometimes can be that really big mental block for teams that happens to the best of them. And they need to work around that somehow. They can't afford it, or they can't really depend on that whole let's catch out one person and then push kind of comp, because they're the ones getting caught out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're spot on, because both teams, they're so anxious to not make a mistake that they're not doing anything. They're wasting time, and all that does is it means that any advantage that either team may have had. Aces High once again starting to build a slight lead here. I'm just watching it slip away.
And the thing is, we mentioned before, right, that Aces High, they need to be the ones pushing. They need to be the aggressor to make this poke comp kind of work. They're ahead by quite a bit of gold now, about 4,000, and now they're finally able to push. They're finally able to be aggressive here. They have the middle inhibitor down, so they can just sit here and wait forever. Oh, they're going for the engage. They're looking for the fight.
Here comes Pantheon straight onto Corki. He knows his target, but Decagon Moon falls to half HP almost immediately. Corki going a similar way as Theocles trying to back away from this one. He does, and as it all backs away from that one, exchanges, but no deaths to speak of. That shows the disengage power of both of these compositions. We already said, I mean, I do not know how Nadia survived what just was thrown at him. The power of Soraka is evident.
Yep, very.
That was just quite literally Dumbledore just rolling his hand on QWER and hoping to keep his teammate alive, and he did just that.
And like you said it perfectly, power of Soraka. I mean, yeah, she's a little bit lower now because of healing up her team, but look at her team. Almost full life now. It's the only one that's really missing any health, but land a star call, heal up a little bit more. And now, NumberOne Esports, they're forced to put Decagon here towards middle just to kind of shove these waves back out, but he doesn't have his man drop anymore. This is a 5-on-4 fight, and I'm assuming Aces High are going to go in for this. Like, they don't necessarily 100% need to, but this is a very easy turret for them.
Yeah, and Jarvan's got the potential to tank that turret. No questions asked. They can easily do this. Cressange's going low. That tree is going low and so very fast. This could be a mess.
It could be, but he looks like he will not escape. Nardis picks up the last auto tag to pick up the kill. Now Pantheon arrives to the party here, but unfortunately a little bit too late. But luckily for them, Theocles is a little bit too low. Dumbledore a little bit too low as well. They're going to back away from this. And the waves are still pushing here onto this middle lane.
That Minhib is doing good work. They're making their way towards those Nexus turrets. And I think that the enemy team is going to be there just to receive him. Padden is going to be cleaning those ones up. And, I mean, as that's done, we see a bit of shopping has been done. We see Nadia's picking up that Quicksilver Sash alongside a Randuin's for, of course, Cressange. Maokai getting it even more tanky. And Callista, or Padden, has picked up that GA.
And that Guardian Angel's going to help. I don't know how much is going to help in these fights, though, because I feel like if he does die, by the time his Guardian Angel actually
He'll be
pops and he
dying
comes
again,
back
yeah.
alive, the rest of his team's dead, and he has no backup.
Yeah, I think the only time it's probably going to be really effective is if if a mistake happens. It sounds stupid to say, but if for some reason Padden gets caught, it gives his team time to get back and return the favor. They can kind of force a team fight off the back of the respawning AD carry.
Is he still wearing a Santa's hat?
Yeah, he's festive. Hang on, aren't you supposed to have taken it down by now?
I thought so. Unless you're my family, you leave your Christmas lights up till February.
Oh, you're one of them.
You're just lazy.
You're one of them.
Maybe a little bit. But either way, Baron, we'll start off a little bit. Aces high, though. Not going to go for potential throw. Theocles picking up a Guardian Angel. And look at this. Stalger now. Deathcap, Zanya's, Rod, Void Staff. 676 ability power. He does ridiculous amount of damage. And now you just smiles right now because you're like, I love being in a position as Castan. I love being so strong and having the other team not be able to kill me. Look at him. I mean, he can afford to be aggressive like this, bait the enemy team into a bad engage. Zanya's and hop out with Rift Walk.
Yeah, it's a huge threat at this stage. The fact that he's only died twice is testament to the power of Castan in an offensive and defensive scenario. He can get out when he needs to as well. And you can see, they're using the movement speed provided by Jace as a real tool to maneuver around this jungle as fast and as efficiently as possible. Looks to perhaps be making a move towards this Baron. There is vision around that pit, though, for them. Oh, actually, it's been sweeped out. Nice move from Energy. That's cleared out all vision that NumberOne Esports did have around that Baron pit. And now they're just going to lie in wait looking to make a catch. And surely NumberOne are not going to fall for this.
Oh, they know generally where they are right now. But Fox has to be careful. Doesn't want to get too far out. Doesn't want to get engaged on here. And Aces high. They're just waiting for their moment. They're just waiting for that next moment to shine.
That's it. This is a team fight. The next team fight is pretty much going to determine where this game goes at this stage in the game. 45 minutes in, 28-23. Everything feels pretty level, and we've already highlighted before that Aces High, they want a different team fight. NumberOne Esports want a team fight. They want a brawl. They want a skirmish. And Aces High, they aren't interested in that. They want to get a pick. They want to take that Ahri, delete Padden without kind of Pantheon man-drop catch. And that's something they need to avoid. Of course, we do have man-drop available. Dekigan Moon's going to be making good use of that. I think we're probably going to be seeing a man-drop at some point on towards this Baron pit. I think that is where the fight's going to occur. Then again, 20 seconds till Dragon, and that's going to be their fifth.
It would be. That's
decisions
very true.
Decisions to be made for Aces.
That would help them fight way more than a Baron buff
That's what I'm thinking, and yet they're still hanging around this Baron pit. Oh, surely they're going to make a move. It's 5 seconds till spawn, and I don't know whether or not NumberOne Esports are aware of that. They don't have a timer. There was not vision when they killed the last dragon.
This is going to be rough here. I definitely think Dragon is a smart move. Like, they can afford to go in a team fight after that. With all that tree damage they're going to do, and now they're just going to get caught out.
Oh, dearie me. They're going hard. Cassandra's going low so very fast. What front line, they ask, as he does fall so very quickly. Castan doing good moves onto Pantheon, backed up by Corki as the Valkyrie comes in. 2 down already. They're looking for a third. Those are 70-second death timers. You heard correctly. That should be a free Baron. They've got a choice now to make. Choice to make. Inhib and base. Baron. Looking to take Baron. Perhaps going to go for Baron and Dragon. It actually looks like Padden's going to be snatching that away from them.
So pretty to watch. Just a bounce left, right, left, right. Up, down, A, B, start select. All right, so they get the rank 5
Konami
buff.
code.
Yeah, of course.
Picks that one up, and of course Baron is going to be the trade-off for that. I think wise move from Padden. That would have been a free Dragon if he hadn't have done that. However, still, fantastic picks. That was the fight that we were talking about. We were saying Aces High, they're not looking for a standard fight. That, my friends, was the fight they were looking for. A pick onto 2.
And you question that. Maybe if NumberOne Esports just went for Dragon instead, would have got the 5 buff, wouldn't actually have died with anyone over towards Baron. Yeah, they would have given the Baron buff away, but Baron buff's not going to give them, team fight potential. Just going to give them pushing potential. And well, Aces High with this this kind of poke comp, able to take down the middle and hit without any resistance from the other side. And that question comes down to 47 minutes in. Still have more kills than minutes, by the way. Just keeping that in mind for you guys watching. It's up to them. Like, they can push top, they can push bottom. They can split push with Castan, who has teleport available now, and they have the Baron buff on everyone. Like, this is honestly their game to lose here.
You're certainly right, and I don't think they're going to be hanging around waiting for that 5th Dragon buff. This is their time to make a move. Making those final purchases, of course, we've seen 3 bits of shopping being done. We've got the Mercurial Scimitar now in the hands of Nardius, as I'm about to cop.
Aegis Legion picked up here for Dumbledog, but Thirster done here as well for that mid laner Energy. And look at our overall gold, about 6,000 difference. Let's just say that. And that is easily being translated into items here. You talk about Chrysange, he might be the tankiest tree in the world, but it doesn't do much up against a team who just completely demolished him.
You're right. I was looking at his build as he was dying, like, this doesn't feel right. This does not look right. You saw how quick his health went. He was down to half health as Thaddeus jumped on him. Oh, sorry, Thaldrin jumped on him.
I'm trying to think. He hasn't had another item, like a new item, in
about 18 minutes?
10 minutes? Yeah, at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You were talking about the Frozen Heart coming in, actually, no, the Randuins came in. Sorry, the Randuins came in. But still, it's not helping. It doesn't really do much when you can have a 700 ability power. Sorry, no, 868 ability power now. Thaldrin just jump on you and take you so damn low. He even has a Lich Bane now for some extra damage.
Yeah, and I mean, something that's interesting about the new casting is a big source of his damage is his W. And so picking up that Lich Bane doesn't surprise me because that melee W enhanced auto attack is really a huge source of casting's damage. And smart buy from him. He's looking to just take this turret down. He's ignoring that. You see, that was the power of the W. You saw that turret's health just disappear and dissipate. And now looks like Chrysanthemum's going to be going low. Just a couple of Rift Walks on top of him. We're going to see a split push. This is the power of Baron buff, of course. Just one Baron buff on one player is all it takes to enhance the entire wave.
Look at these Candy Minions hit. I mean, it's a small sliver, but when they hit together, it's pretty damn big, and it's falling very quickly. Teamfight breaking on the top side, though. Theocles might get taken down for this. Guardian Angel is going to get him back alive here. Energy might fall as well here. Decagon trying to go in, gets exhausted up. The teleport comes from Thaldrin. Nardus able to pick up the first kill here, and Thaldrin still going ham, looking for where Pop's zone is. The silence going to come in, but not going to get the snare, and they will back away.
2 down already, 70-second death time, as Thaldrin is well aware of it. He's trying to do something. The Rift Walk is going to be available. He's going to try and take one. Takes the tree, looking for the fish. He does. He completes the set. Just one to find. It's Padden. He needs to put in his sticker book, and I don't think he's going to be able to manage it. Oh, he does. Jesus. He disappears, and Padden's going to return immediately to be added to the collection. That is going to be game 1 of our best of 3, coming to a close and in such style. It took 50 minutes, but they got there. Aces High are our victors in game 1.
Yes, they are, and well-deserved, honestly. I mean, they had such a big lead in the beginning. They struggled towards the mid-game where NumberOne Esports were able to finally fight back towards those dragon fights to group up.